Salutations, Overwatch fans. It's time for another edition of the Watchpoint Postshow live from the Blizzard Arena, Los Angeles. Actually, our last time that we're live from the Blizzard Arena here. It's the final day of the playoffs presented by Xfinity before Grand Finals. I'm your host, Malik Forte, joined once and for all by Zoe Brent and Sideshow. Guys, quick match, but a great way for us to end the legacy, the era that was our time here at the Blizzard Arena.
I mean, it makes me excited for what is to come in Philly, to see such dominance coming out of Shock, and to have seen such dominance from the Titans. I hope that's going to be a great match.
This has been written in the scriptures. This is a match that we have just preordained. It was meant to be. The rivalry that these two teams have had over the course of this entire season, they've taken stage finals away from each other. When we got to the end of stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, the Titans didn't make it into the finals, but still, the rivalry has always been there. It's been brewing. And now we're going to see the pinnacle, the finale of it, right in Philadelphia in 2 weeks' time. I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
Another 4-0? Sinatra's already calling 4-0.
I don't think so. I don't think the Titans are going to be that easy.
Yeah, it's crazy the way things flipped, because I remember Bumper at the beginning of the season saying the Titans were going to
we heard that one before.
Yeah. This is definitely like the perfect art. The script writers, they're doing their thing. But guys, I'm ready to jump into the highlights right now. Starting off with Lee Jong Tower. Of course, we had the NYXL who came out and struck the first blow in this matchup before things turned around.
And I really want to make the point here that although it says a 4-0 on the board, and yes, the San Francisco Shock have been dominant, this was 3 team fights away from being a 3-1 series that the Shock would have to try and reverse sweep, because this first round of Lijiang was pretty dominant from New York, and the San Francisco Shock threw an incredible team fight where they delayed and delayed and delayed and committed a Soundmire and Coalescence at the end, managed to take the second round, and then the third went all the distance as well. The NYXL did not just lie down in this series. It says 4-0, it wasn't clean. This was such a close match between two really phenomenal teams.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And just the outcome of this as well. It's very interesting to see the evolution of Shock even just throughout this series. I mean, we can talk all we want as well. We can spend probably hours talking about how they've changed over the course of the entirety of the playoffs, but just in the series itself as well. This team is up there on the same level of the Vancouver Titans in terms of the way that they can adapt during a game to anything that's really thrown at them. Multiple moments, though, as you said, Josh, on both Lijiang Tower and Kings Road that we're seeing here, where it was a singular team fight away from New York Excelsior, currently potentially still playing right now as we're talking.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, we've seen so much of an evolution from both of those teams in the playoffs. Both had a bit of a slower start, but once they got going, they got going. Seb Bjorby, in my opinion, had a fantastic performance today. Mana also some phenomenal plays on that Orisa. I love what we saw. A lot of great hauls, which really helped Libero and Seb Bjorby to get those team fight wins. And overall, I think even though the end result, as you said, Sideshow, is one-sided, the games itself weren't, and I think New York can be incredibly proud of what they've done in this playoff.
Absolutely. Now, for me, a defining factor, though, was that even here on Anubis, where New York Excel forced Sinatra to play Sombra, and Shock lost point A every single time, we still went 6-5 with the Shock managing to take it. They are so clutch when it matters, even when New York did everything right and played their game plan on a map that they're so good at, undefeated in the postseason, they still lost. They still lost because the Shock are just that good.
Just that good. We need to really hammer that home as well, because a lot of people, I'm going to be the defender of New York right now. A lot of people are going to be looking at this match. New York had a reputation for choking in playoff scenarios.
This wasn't that.
This was not a choke in the slightest.
No,
this was
not at all.
The San Francisco Shock being the superbly better team that they are. And the New York Excelsior, they can look back on this. They're not going to right now, because again, it's probably going to be stinging quite a bit.
It'll be wrong.
They've missed out on the grand finals. But considering where they were last year as a franchise, had a bottomed out in multiple stage playoffs, in the overall playoffs as well, they can look back at this and say, we have made radical improvements.
Yeah, for them to be this deep, one match away from the grand finals where no one expected them to be.
Nope, nobody
No one picked them to be there.
Nope.
They made it, so they should definitely walk out of here with their heads held high.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of growth from that team, and it was also honestly fantastic to see Flower coming back in at the very end. I love what we saw from New York on those Bastion comps throughout the entirety of the playoffs. A really strong composition for them. I do think Flower does add a lot, and I think it was great to see him back on that stage as well.
Kind of a tough position to be thrown in, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure.
Huge pressure situation for a player that we know has struggled with that kind of stuff in the past. But the San Francisco Shock, I want to say it again, their Bastion comps, unbelievable. Even when they're playing into what New York should be incredible at, these Bastion compositions, where Flower and Sabi were able to play the Pharah and the Bastion. San Francisco Shock come in, they field Rascal Architect, and they just annihilate their way through Rialto. This was the least close of any of the maps. It was firmly in Shock's favor, and that has got to be scary for the Titans. You look at it, you say, all right, Titans, phenomenal at Reaper Doomfist, but Shock can play that, and they can play the Bastion comps better than any team in the league.
It seems like the San Francisco Shock can do anything. Go ahead, sorry, I didn't mean to
I know, I just wanted to quickly point out Libero. We did mention, or I mentioned in the pre-show, that one of the little weaknesses we had from the San Francisco Shock is their inability of winning team fights when they're short-handed on their support side. Now, Libero specifically went for that. Libero had the number of Moth. Honestly, he kept on going in, he kept on killing it, and he actually ended it with a 12-1 kill feed versus just Moth alone.
Right.
Unfortunately, Violet was right there and killed him instead then, so that didn't work out, but still, they did their homework, they came prepared.
Right, they knew what they were going to do. And let's take a look at Libero's statistics in comparison to our MVP, Sinatra. And again, Sinatra just outclassing his counterpart on the other side.
Okay, but Libero as well, as a player, I feel like we haven't actually spoke about this guy really at all throughout the season. Because he's always been the consistent player that New York has always had. He can play every role under the sun, but he really turned up in this Doomfist meta. He came out, he performed on a similar level to a lot of the elite Doomfist players, and comparable numbers-wise here with Sinatra. And Sinatra had a hell of a game.
Right, but I mean, there are some metrics where Sinatra is just dominating. Look at the final blows, okay? A little bit ahead of Libero. Then you compare the deaths, and my word, the guy was getting away with murder again. No one has figured out how to punish Sinatra effectively. The Vancouver Titans have got to be looking through all of the game tape and thinking, this guy plays so aggressive, how has nobody punished him? And whatever they come into the game plan, I don't know how you shut this guy down. Because it kind of seems like, even though he makes moves that should be punishable, that are way more aggressive, that seem less calculated than everyone else, because the rest of his team's going in at the same time, it seems impossible.
And you can tell the way that Sinatra, he feels his way out during the series. How much can he get away with? At the start of this series, he was using his cooldowns quite defensively. He'd initiate one with a punch, he'd use the other two cooldowns to try and get himself out. As the series progressed, we just saw him constantly just going in full-on aggression because he knew his team was going to be backing him up. He was unstoppable, a force of nature throughout this series. Haxel, he's probably one of the only players who can really going to be keeping him in line when it comes to the counterpunches and whatnot. He's one of the only players who's on a similar level of skill to that guy. This match that we're going to be seeing in Philly, it's just going to be amazing. There's so many little storylines tucked away in it.
We got the league MVP going up against the Rookie of the Year. I don't think you could have planned that any better. It's
absurd.
So good.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. But guys, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the losers bracket, and finally a little bit of shake-up in the chronology of it. With the NYXL going out, that's our number 2 seed who's exiting this time, and now we're gonna get number 3 versus number 1. Seeding really doesn't matter at this point, of course, in the grand finals. Looking at the winner bracket, the Titans, they were able to coast into the winners finals by way of the upper bracket. So, guys, we got the matchup that we wanted here for grand final.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, we did. And I love the way, though, we came to that very conclusion, because it was like everyone's bracket was busted day one.
Day one.
And I love that somehow, in a roundabout way, we still got that one matchup. Everyone, except from, I think, Brennan, his initial bracket, actually predicted to happen in the grand final, and that is San Francisco Shock.
I mean, look what they didn't quite work out.
Honestly, though, they looked really, really strong. And I do think that, honestly, hands down, every single match we had in the playoffs could have gone either way, because all of those teams, more than just a little bit, deserve to be there.
So, birthday girl, as of tomorrow.
I was about to say, it's not my birthday yet.
Tomorrow.
Why do you know about
that? You did it to me. You did the early birthday to me last week. I'm getting you back. Don't have a cake, or at least not yet. But I have a question for you.
Please don't cake me again.
Could you make a quick prediction for who you think is going to win grand finals?
I think it's going to be San Francisco Shock.
Really? The Shock?
Yes.
Are we shocked across the board right now just because they're looking so strong?
I need to give it some more thought,
okay.
honestly. I can't dive into
I had to put you guys on
early
spot.
thoughts, like my early thoughts look like the Shock just seemed to be on an absolute tear.
Yeah.
And I think Titans are going to be looking at this match today. They're probably going to be quaking in their boots at this, because they had a very close series against New York.
Yeah, seven maps.
7 maps against New York, and Shock just make them look like an open division team in some ways. I mean, it was still a very close game, but that Rialto match was not very close. It was very one-sided.
Yeah.
So Titans are going to be looking at this and going to be like, I mean, is 2 weeks even enough to prepare?
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
I mean, the San Francisco Shock, the unlikely part was getting to the final in the first place, running all the way through the lower bracket. It's so unlikely. And the dominant fashion in which they've done it, not dropping a single map, I think that has to make them the favorites in the
And they pull off the golden
They
bracket.
know themselves that they shouldn't have been in the lower bracket to begin with. Like,
Yeah.
that was already the unlikely scenario to happen, so I'm not surprised that they fought their way back in the fashion they did.
One final comment on this.
Go ahead.
Do we think the Shock would be here now if they didn't go out to Reign in the first round? If they didn't have that fire lit?
It's a question to be asked. I honestly believe that being in the losers bracket lit a fire under them.
Right.
So I'm with you on that.
I think that it really reinvigorated. And I mean, they've said in multiple interviews, Moff has made mention of it as well in one of his post-game interviews. It's like they came into this match just with minimal expectations, just expecting to have fun. That was against London. They dominated them. Since that point, haven't dropped a map.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. But guys, it was a valiant effort for the NYXL. But unfortunately, in Overwatch, when you get eliminated, there's only one place that you can go, and that is back to spawn for the New York Excelsior. Now, these guys weren't really expected to make it this far, so it's almost kind of, it's nothing really bad you could say about their run. People were expecting them to make a first-round exit, but here they are.
What's with the pizza? Oh, is that a New York thing?
pizza.
Oh,
New York style pizza.
Sorry.
Best.
I love pine there in the background.
Dance on the table.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, but the key points of this team, though, right? What a redemption arc for this squad.
Oh,
a
absolutely.
team that's
sure.
never performed well in the playoffs, make it all the way to the losers finals. I mean, all of us had on the desk that we had New York going out in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Straight away, just dropping out. We didn't expect them to perform. They've had ups, they've had downs. But my word, what a comeback for this franchise.
That grab hurt to see again.
Yeah, but no one's going to be talking about their failures in the stage playoffs because they redeemed themselves in the season playoffs when it matters. A top 3 finish, absolutely nothing to sniff at. And I think that is something where, you know, you look at NYXL and the roster and the performance they put up in the regular season over last year and this year, and that's a performance that you could say finally you can be proud of.
Yeah.
I got an interesting question for you guys. Does this somewhat vindicate?
Oh,
Wait,
man.
hold.
Hold on.
Okay,
Literally
no.
hold.
Yeah, we gotta wait.
We need to take a look at this. This is everything which encaptures Sebiolbi's role in this
Yeah.
team. This is
Yes.
everything he is. This leadership role. This. I don't even know. I have no words. I have no words for this. This is
to the newer
beautiful.
players. This was after his team had been dominated on Rialto on that offense. Flower has just come into the game. So much pressure on this guy's shoulders, and we know that mentally this guy has been building himself up. Such a hard position for a young guy, and Sebiolbi's role on the team is to be that big brother figure, the guy that
He
says,
comes
it's
in,
all right,
calms
you
him
can
down.
do it.
And you can see the pep talk. We were able to watch the player cams and how he actually just calmed down Flower for that performance on stage. That was
Right.
beautiful, and this is everything Overwatch League is all about.
Right, it's what you see out of any leader of any team in these competitive settings. Probably one of the best moments that we've had
My
in the
favorite.
Overwatch
I
League.
think, yeah, hands down, without fail, the best moment that
Yeah.
we've captured between these two teams.
Yeah.
Nothing highlights more how much Sabiobi means to this team than that.
Okay, I got one quick question I want to throw to you guys. With the NYXL and the way that they performed, do you guys believe that they've somewhat vindicated the Atlantic Division altogether? Because I know there was a lot of shade thrown toward the Atlantic Division. A little bit of vindication now? Did the NYXL
It's hard
perform
to
pretty
say,
well?
right?
I think
Because
you look at it, 4 teams out of 8 were from the Atlantic that made the overall playoffs, right?
Right.
Overall, you had the Philadelphia Fusion, the London Spitfire, the Atlanta Reign, and then you had the NYXL.
Right.
Atlanta Reign actually ended up doing okay.
Yeah.
They did an all right season. I think Philly and London won't be really that proud of how they did in the overall scheme of things, but Atlantic Division weren't too poor this year. But
Yeah.
I think it was still the worst one.
They had a slower start. Let's put it that
Yes.
way. At the very beginning, there was not that much competition in that very division, but I think they all picked it up towards the end of the league.
All right, all right. Well, congratulations to the NYXL on an improved season and making it this deep into the playoffs. But guys, we got over-the-top moments coming up. When we come back right after the break, stay tuned. More Watchpoint Post Show coming your way.
Support your team with the official Overwatch League Coca-Cola bottles at CokeStore.com. Ships to all 50 U.S. states, Washington, D.C., and U.S. P.O. boxes.
Welcome back to the Watchpoint Post Show. Every day during the playoffs presented by Xfinity, winning teams share their victory moments with their fans. So we ask you to share some of your victory moments with us via Twitter. So let's take a look at a couple of these. We got some San Francisco Shock fans here, of course, rejoicing. They're making it to the grand finals. That's lovely. Oh, we have some folks who were at the arena here, too.
Oh, the Coke bottle as well. Okay.
Love the brick cosplay. That's wonderful.
I like the name, the world's okayest cosplay.
All right. And Von Querner says the Shock finished off the NYXL in the exact same spot as when they C9 to Atlanta. Okay, full circle for the San Francisco Shock. I love it. And guys, those were your victory moments for today. And don't forget to share your victory moments with us using the hashtag #ShareTheGlory, and maybe you'll be featured on the post show as well someday. But without any further ado, it's time to take a look at some of the best moments from that match. It is time for Over the Top, and we're going to start off with Sinatra switching off a Doomfist onto McCree and straight popping off. Man, look at the flick of the wrist here.
I love that, though. He had his stun ready for that Doomfist coming in. He was ready for mono on that Hammond, so he really wanted to shut them down hard, not give them any more room on that payload.
He has some ridiculous right clicks as well. His fan the hammer aim was ridiculous.
That sounds like a meme, Josh.
It does, I know. It was incredible.
Very good. Up next, we have Troy Oben with the big flux that he disrupts results with.
Gravity flux.
The
What
big
does that
flux.
mean?
Big flux.
Okay, but seriously though, Choi, I said it before, but I'll say it again, the subtle carry of his team, his Sigma's really stepped up leaps and bounds.
Yeah, it's actually improved a lot as well. That's what I find so interesting. It's not like it was that great right from the beginning. He got outplayed by Gator in their first loss.
Up next, we have Samuel being Striker, taking everybody to spin class, triggering their death blossoms at the exact same time. Lots of death blossoms. Whew.
Yeah, there's an old proverb.
This is an epic hold by the San Francisco Shock, by the way.
Ye who death blossom second win.
Yeah, indeed. Next, Sinatra just all over the highlights today with another clutch play right here with Doomfist.
You'd think all his clutch plays get boring eventually, but they're really not.
No,
In fact,
they never
it's like a birthday every single time I see it.
He's the MVP for a reason. And last but not least, the winning moment right in the same spot where they were knocked into the losers bracket. They move on to the grand finals to face the Vancouver Titans.
Yeah, I mean, it's so beautiful, incredibly poetic that it is in the same area. And you think back to last year, the London Spitfire lose one match, go on a tear, and win the entire thing. We might have the exact same thing here with the San Francisco.
Oh my word.
Yeah,
I want a screen cap of Moff's face as well when they won it, because it just, look at the difference.
The contrast.
The smile.
Calm smile.
Far less confusion this time around.
Yeah.
You can see it written in his face, like, was that so hard?
They had to win that many matches.
Such a good moment. All right, well, let's take a quick look at the Twitch CheerBiz leaderboard one more time here at the Blizzard Arena. And what do you know? The Atlanta Reigns still sitting at the top of that list as the Shanghai Dragons.
A bit
cracking back into
disappointed.
the
I
top 10.
generally thought that over the course of the last few stages, we would see a switcheroo here.
I thought somebody would dethrone the Atlanta Reign, but it just didn't happen. The fans too strong down there.
Fans too strong.
All right, now, last but not least, our individual leaderboard here. Oh,
So one last time, right?
Hipster Quetzal's still there. I'm happy about that. That one's good for my soul. What about you guys?
I like Aragon because
Aragon.
because he's growing more powerful with each day. More bits being included. Soon he will be #1. Nobody will be able to dethrone him.
Okay, sure.
I'm still a big fan of Mad Queen Dog.
Indeed. All right, guys.
Or 2GG, I don't know.
Well, speaking of Twitch, I want to remind you guys to pick up that Overwatch League All Access Pass so you can check out a live Q&A with the birthday girl herself, Zoe, sitting to my left. She's going to hang around a little bit to answer all of your questions. It's not her birthday yet, but
It is in some places.
send her happy birthday
That's-
tweets anyway, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
But guys, in all seriousness, that does it for this episode of the Watchpoint Post Show. The next time you see us, we'll be in Philadelphia for the grand finals. But before that, we need to give a heartfelt goodbye to the Blizzard Arena. The Overwatch League is a family, and for the last 2 years, the Blizzard Arena has been home to every thrilling victory, devastating defeat, crazy comeback, wacky walkout, and over-the-top moment the Overwatch League has had to offer. We sanitized. We ate lemons for a good cause. We even brought out the goats to the arena for the people. It truly has been an amazing 2 seasons. So to everyone behind the scenes in production, the players, the coaches, GMs, and most importantly, you, the fans, thank you to each and every one of you for making the Blizzard Arena a home and filling it with countless unforgettable memories. But as they say, Home is where the heart is, and our heart is wherever the people who love Overwatch are. So we can't wait to make more memories with you all over the world when the Overwatch League hits the road in 2020. So until next time, I'm Malik Forte, and this payload is moving around the globe. We'll see you at the grand finals.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.